Hello everyone, Matt here from the Retro Sons, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about my favorite video game of all time, Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. Let's get into it. The opening area and dungeon teach you everything you need to know in a fun way. It doesn't seem like you're doing a tutorial, it just seems like you're playing a video game, and they did a great job doing that. When I got to Goma the first time, the boss of the Deku Tree, I didn't know what I was in for. It was big and imposing. It was a pretty easy boss fight, but the first time you get to it, you don't know what to expect. You search around the room and you can't see anything. Then you hear scratching up on the roof, so you look up and you see an eye that spins around in its head, and Goma falls before you. It's a great first boss fight and a great opening to this game. After you defeat Goma, you go outside and talk to the Great Deku Tree, which brings me to my next point. The story in this game is one of the best Zelda stories in the entire series. You learn so much. You learn about the history and lore of Hyrule, and you find out where the Triforce came from and who the three goddesses are, and how they made Hyrule. The story in this game is so good, it makes me want to keep playing, even though I've played it 20 or 30 times. It's one of the best stories in any video game, in my opinion. The Great Deku Tree tells you have to go see the princess in the castle, so you head out. I remember the feeling I had the first time it shows you Hyrule Field. It's such a massive world. It doesn't seem like it nowadays, but back in 1998, it was an entirely new thing. We've never seen anything like that before. It made me so excited to play the rest of this game. After you talk to the princess, you go and collect the two remaining spiritual stones. One is at the Goron Mountains, and the other one is in the Zora's Domain. The three opening dungeons are very good. I love every single one of them, for different reasons. Once you collect all three spiritual stones, it's time to go back and see the princess. But as you get closer to the castle, you realize something is wrong. Ganondorf has attacked the castle, and the princess and Impa flee past you. Ganondorf loses them in the shuffle, and he asks you where they went. Link, being defiant, doesn't tell him, and tries to attack Ganondorf. And that's when you find out just how powerful he really is. As Zelda rode by you in a horse, she threw the Ocarina of Time into the castle moat. And after Ganondorf leaves, you go in and you get it. Speaking of the Ocarina, that brings me to my next point. The music. The music in this game is the best in any video game ever. I love every single song in this game, and they all get stuck in my head. From Hyrule Field to Kokiri Forest to the dungeons. And speaking of dungeons, the dungeons in this game are the best in the entire series. I know a lot of people probably don't agree with me, but I think the Water Temple is the greatest temple in the entire series. You really have to think to get your way through this one. It's not just a straightforward path. The one dungeon I don't like in the game is Ganon's Tower. It seems too easy to be the last dungeon in the game. The dungeon may not be great, but the fight against Ganondorf is. He's an imposing force, and he's your greatest challenge yet. I loved this the first time I played it, and I loved it every time since. And once you beat him, he uses his power to collapse the castle around you, so you have to rush out with Zelda. Once you get out, you think everything's okay, but you hear a rumbling under the rubble of the castle, so you go to investigate. Ganondorf uses the last of his power to turn into Ganon, his beast form. It's the greatest fight of the entire game. He's wielding two swords and is outside in the castle rubble. After a long fight, Link is victorious, using the last of his power to plunge the Master Sword into Ganon's head, ending his rule. I think they did a fantastic job for the first 3D Zelda game. This game holds a special place in my heart, and it'll always be my favorite video game. So let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it, all that down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.